it's Pastor Dan with another Proverbs Practical from Dexter Gospel Church. Thanks for watching today. Today's verse is one of the most misapplied verses I know of in some groups. We're in Proverbs 22, verse 28. Proverbs 22:28 says, "Remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set." Now, the verse does have some competition for that title of most misapplied, because there are a lot of people who don't understand that salvation isn't by keeping the law, the falsehood of the prosperity gospel, the difference between the old covenant and the new covenant, not being under the law versus being under grace, the difference between the nation of Israel and other earthly nations, and so on. But almost every time I've seen this verse used, it's being used to promote something that is completely out of context and foreign to this passage and to this book. Often people will come to this passage and they will use it to say that we shouldn't change our traditions. They will say that our fathers set these landmarks up to be the guides of what we should do and what we shouldn't do and how we should do the things that we do. And right here, we're ordered by God not to change the things that our forefathers did. It becomes simply a defense of tradition. And honestly, the way it's used, it's often being used of things that are really only a few decades old, not truly ancient, not put in place from the early days of the church or from back in Scripture. But this verse isn't talking about traditions at all. It's talking about landmarks. And to Solomon or the original readers, to say that a landmark meant a tradition or practice, a thing to do or a way of doing things, that would have been incomprehensible. If he meant to say tradition, he would have said tradition. It's out of context for their culture. When they talked about landmarks, they were really talking about landmarks. The word for landmark could literally be translated bound, as in a boundary. This isn't talking about traditions, it's talking about transactions, real estate, and honesty. It actually goes back to commands in the law, like the one in Deuteronomy 19:14, which says, "Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it." Deuteronomy 27:17 even places a curse on anyone who moves one of those landmarks. What's going on here is that when the Israelites moved into the land of Canaan, they divided it up by tribe and by family. That inheritance was marked out, and it was supposed to stay in each family and in each tribe all the way down through the years and ages, so that no lineage was ever brought to permanent poverty. This was their social safety net, so to speak, and it was supposed to reset every few decades so that people could go back to their original family properties and have some means of making a living. Now, you could sell it, but even that was supposed to be a lease, really, that expired and reverted back to your family in that year of Jubilee. So to mark out what land belonged with each family and tribe and so on down through the ages, they used either pre-existing markers or set up landmarks at the boundaries. Those were the official record of what belonged to each person, each family, each tribe. But someone unscrupulous, who wanted a little advantage, who wanted a little extra land, might quietly move one of those landmarks, go and dig it up in the night and move it over a little ways. They'd be shifting the property line over by as far as they could move the marker. They'd effectively be stealing land from their neighbor, not doing it in court, not doing it with weapons, but doing it subtly by moving the markers rather than by violence or legal action. They might get away with it. If they moved it subtly and carefully, people might not even notice that the marker had been moved. If someone did actually notice, they might not be able to prove where it was before, or be able to prove who had done it, or even that it was done. This may have been the single safest, sneakiest way to steal from a neighbor. But Proverbs has always been about, and so has God, honesty and integrity in business. It never approves of the sneaky move to gain an advantage. It never approves of a dishonest approach. It never approves of preying on other people, of stealing from them, no matter how it's done. There may be times when we could gain a financial advantage by quietly moving something, by slipping something into the contract where we know it won't be caught until it's too late. But that doesn't make that kind of thing right. It's never okay in business or in life to get ahead by dishonesty. Whether we steal with a shovel like this, or with a lawyer, or with a knife, it's still stealing. I hope this video is a help to you. If it is, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more insight from Scripture. We'd also love to hear from you in the comments, and we'd love to see you in person here at Dexter Gospel Church. Until next time, I hope you stay well and live with integrity.